So there have been a lot of developments with Earth 2 over the last year and some odd months, and it definitely has impacted and affected and done some alterations to my strategy as far as where I'm purchasing land and making my moves and deciding how the future of my portfolio is going to unravel. And I wanted to share some of the new things, the new thoughts that I'm implementing. I did just record a somewhat updated strategy video, but it was less specific. But I'm going to actually show you in this video some actual areas that I purchased and give you an example as to why. It will cover some of the strategies and reasons behind my investing, and I definitely encourage you to check out not only the most recent strategy update video, but also, as I mentioned in that video, the original strategy videos that I made over a year ago or about a year ago. They're still very applicable. However, these new updates based on the new information and development that we've had are going to also be very relevant. So combine all that information into a nice little concise nugget and use that to kind of adjust your strategy around. But if you're new to Earth 2, or if you haven't really been keeping up to date with what's been going on, I think these videos are definitely going to be something that are worth a watch. What's going on, Earth 2 novice enthusiasts and everyone in between? Welcome to another episode of Earth 2 News, where we discuss everything Earth 2. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news, strategies, giveaways, and events, make sure you are subscribed and you've got those alert notifications on. You're also going to want to check out the links in the show notes so you can learn how to win money and land in my weekly giveaways, as well as subscribe to my newsletter so you can get exclusive information before it even makes it into an episode. And if you're new to Earth 2, you're definitely going to want to check out my playlist that is dedicated to Earth 2 noobs and has a bunch of different videos that will help you understand what's happened, what's going on, and what to do next so you can skip mistakes and fast track your success. You're also going to want to make sure you're watching this on Earth 2 News. That is my channel that is dedicated to Earth 2 content. I have exclusive content on there. That's where my episodes premiere first, and that is the only channel on which I go live so we can interact. Before we get started, I want to let you know that this is part of a series I made specifically for people who are new to Earth 2, so you're able to get caught up. Or maybe you've been playing with Earth 2 for a while, but you haven't been staying up to date with all of the recent announcements, or maybe you just want to hear my take on what I've seen and what I think is coming up. In any case, you're going to want to make sure you check out the rest of the playlist on my YouTube. I'm also going to have a podcast series. To find the playlist, there might be a link popping up in the corner, or you can check the show notes for a link, or just search my channel. Now that that's out of the way, let's jump into today's episode. So as I mentioned, I did discuss strategies from kind of a 30,000 foot view, the broad bird's eye view kind of oversight of what my strategies are, but I wanted to show you some specific properties that I've most recently purchased, because this select group of properties are actually great little examples. So what's on your screen right now are the last 6 purchases I made, and coincidentally they're actually, this little cluster is actually a great example of some of the new strategies that I am implementing. Now, going from most recent, we've got Wynwood, then we've got a couple locations at Vizcaya Museum, and I'll explain that, as well as the Addison Boca Raton there at the bottom, Rupkund Lake of Bones, Celestis, AK Mega City. So as I mentioned, I'll start with the last one first. As I mentioned in my last video, and I will do a video specifically on mega cities, but mega cities are something that we didn't really have to implement when we started off purchasing in Earth 2 a little over a year ago, in the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. Mega cities really weren't as prevalent, and they really didn't come to fruition. What are mega cities? Well, mega cities, quick version is, we've got some people who have started their own Discord groups. They've decided, hey, let's all buy land together. When Earth 2 finally comes to fruition, let's make a city that's just us, just these people in the group, and we will have a common theme or a mindset, and we've already got a group together that will help us manage this city. Now, why is that different than these massive clusters that we're seeing? Like if we turn on the hotspot app where you're able to see, kind of lights up the map and shows you where everything is most popular as far as the purchases are concerned. It shows you where the purchase densities are, and it really highlights that on the map. Why is that different than going to like downtown Manhattan or Paris, where there are tons of people purchasing land and it's a nice thick big cluster? Well, those people are all strangers. They're purchasing that land because it's downtown Manhattan, because it's Paris, because it's a high traffic, very popular area. And not to say that those are bad areas, but this is another strategy, especially considering a lot of the best spots like those areas are already bought up. What's great about megacities is most of them, all the ones I know of, were formed and strategically placed in random areas, or I shouldn't say random areas, but areas that don't have any other attraction. One that I know of is in Antarctica. Another one that I know of, two that I know of, are in the middle of the desert. There's not a metropolis in that area in real Earth that is attracting a lot of people to all focus their buying in that spot. So the benefit of that is, instead of a bunch of random people densely purchasing in that area, we have a strategic group of individuals who are already in communication via Discord or Telegram or wherever their group chat is, and they are already in communication with each other. They've got a concise plan, and some of them have been able to, and I'll show this in my megacity video, so check that out, but some of them have also designed the cities so that they are very, not only symmetrical, but some of them have actually put really interesting designs in the layout of their cities by buying in certain areas to form, we all know that when you purchase, you have a flag. The flag has a certain color. So imagine using those purchases to coordinate a picture or a tapestry. And some of them have some really impressive artwork that you can see on the landscape just by looking at the flags that are there. And obviously you can use the different layers of the map to toggle between the buildings that'll be there. But I imagine that Earth 2 will always keep an ability to have these really pretty tapestries viewable, so that you could always toggle that on or off. Not that it's necessarily going to be a major value add, but when you're purchasing land, it would definitely behoove you to be in one of these areas, because like I said, it's not as competitive as trying to purchase land in downtown Paris or downtown Miami, Manhattan, LA, etc., where everybody else is randomly purchasing, all these strangers are purchasing. Definitely value. Again, there's definitely value there because of the foot traffic, but there's also going to be a lot of traffic at these mega cities. You like free money? You want to win some free land? Well, you're definitely going to want to check out my 2 giveaways that I have going on right now. The first one is the referral raffle. To enter that, you fill out the form below, and I'm going to use your promo code when I make my purchases. The next one is going to be my land giveaway. Each and every week, I buy land and I give it away to people who use my promo code. All you have to do is use my referral code when you're making your purchases, take a screenshot of the transaction and send it to myearth2news@gmail.com. Each week I pick a random winner who receives all of the land that I'm able to purchase for that week. Every purchase you make with my referral code is another entry, so make sure you're using my referral code on your purchases, make sure you're getting screenshots, and make sure you're sending them to myearth2news@gmail.com. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope to see you in the winner's circle. What I think is going to be unique about these mega cities that downtown Manhattan probably won't be able to pull off is, let's say that one of the mega cities wanted to make the entire city a giant theme park, or one of them wanted to make it an entire medieval theme. So we have everybody, all these independent people building in that area in the design of Renaissance era architecture. So you have a lot of medieval type of stuff because it's fitting that theme. In downtown Manhattan, these people aren't communicating. They aren't being able, they have no ability to coordinate what the overall theme of that area is going to be. Whereas again, if we wanted to all create a mega city in Antarctica and make it a massive theme park, that would be pretty cool. Or a massive casino, that would be pretty cool. We could share in a business venture or something like that. So you could either join in on these Discord groups, and I also will give you a link to all of the largest mega cities. It'll give you basically a list and a little bit of the background and what's going on, as well as how to join those different groups. And if you want that, fill out my contact form below. It'll send you automated email. It'll give you a link to that Google sheet, and you can go through and not only view them, explore them, buy there, but then, like I said, you could also join those communities. But you don't have to join those communities. Even just buying around those mega cities will give you a lot more foot traffic, so to speak, in that area, and that will be a huge advantage when it comes to maybe eventually selling that land to somebody who does want to join that mega city group, and they want something that's closer to the heart of the operation, because some of these groups have expanded and they have their initial plot of land that were basically founding members, and they've expanded another plot, and those are all being chunked up, and as people grow, they're able to join, and they're not as close to the heart of the operation. Definitely somebody who's going to be joining in a couple of months wants to be closer in proximity rather than buying what they can buy directly from Earth 2. You'd also be getting a lower tier than potentially someone in the future who's buying directly from Earth 2. So that's the reason that they would value your land more on the secondary market. Plus, you'd be able to rent it possibly, all the other, and check out the video where I describe all the different ways that you can make money in Earth 2, so I don't have to go through all of them. Maybe the link is going to be popping up in the corner, otherwise search my channel for it, so you'll get a lot more ideas. But another example would be ad revenue, because advertisers are going to want to be marketing in areas with high traffic. If you're in or near an area with high traffic, that's somewhere a potential advertiser would want to be putting up some ads, right? So that's one of the advantages. And as you can see, AK Megacity is one of the mega cities that I purchased some land at. This Lake of Bones, this is not really an example of a mega city yet. I do have some mega city purchases that are up in mountains, but this is just a historical place that I heard a story about, and I was able to find it. I try to find stuff that is as relevant and as famous as possible, but also knowing that a lot of the most famous spots are already bought up, obviously. So you have to think a little bit outside the box. So if you think of any place that has any kind of historical value, or there's some kind of story around it, some kind of folklore around it, especially the more precise and specific that location is, the easier it is to purchase all of it, or at least a piece of it. And that's what this example is. I bought this lake in the mountain that has all these really weird stories and mystical stuff that I won't go into, but if you want to, look up Lake of Bones Mountain, do a Google search, something like that, Rupkund, if you want to get specific, and I'm sure you'll be able to see these stories. It's really some creepy stuff. It's literally like a frozen lake in the mountains with tons of human bones in the lake, and it's a very shallow and clear lake, so people are really they're speculating as to how all of these bones ended up in this lake. They're thinking maybe some people were migrating over it and it collapsed. There's some kind of folklore in the area that tells stories and all sorts of other theories. But in any case, moving on to the next purchase there, the Addison Boca Raton. Now this is one of my newer strategies that I haven't mentioned in my other videos, so it's a good thing you're watching this video. This episode, I should say, because I'm also making these for podcasts. So it's a good thing that you're digesting and ingesting the information in this episode, whether it's through podcast or video. But the Addison Boca Raton. Now, if you're not from this area, you've probably never heard of it. But the Addison is a venue that in South Florida is extremely popular for events, specifically weddings. So where am I going with this? Well, one of my strategies has always been, memorable places. And now I've been thinking, okay, where do people get married a lot? And the Addison is one of them. I've got at least one of my closest friends was married at the Addison, and I had the pleasure of being a part of that wedding. And it was a beautiful wedding. It's not a cheap place to get married. It's in the heart of Boca Raton. A lot of people in Boca have either had their wedding there or they've attended a wedding there. Some people also will have, quinceañera there. They'll have, there was not a baby shower, but I think it was like a baby's first birthday or something like that there. And it's not a cheap venue. So the people who have formed memories there, they've got money to spend, right? Well, I bought up the entire compound. And the actually the next two places, the Vizcaya, those two locations that I purchased there, that's actually going to be a gift, and I'll get to that in a moment. But that's also another place in Florida that's in Miami, very popular for weddings. And there's a lot of that area that's already been bought up. It's historic, it's beautiful, it's massive, way bigger than the Addison. But both of these places have a lot of special events, but particularly weddings. So what I'm planning on doing is eventually I could see somebody who I can sell this to wanting to make a VR, AR, immersive photo album of their wedding at the Earth 2 location of where they got married. How cool would that be? So the Vizcaya, that's where one of my best friends is going to be getting married. I'm going to be the best man in that wedding. And this is going to be one of my gifts to him. And I intend to have all of the pictures and video and everything that is captured at that wedding, all the stuff that you'd want people to be able to access at least. I'm sure there's going to be some fun photos that are going to be kept private because we like to party and have a little bit too much fun. And some of them have very serious jobs and high profile kind of stuff that you don't want to have too many fun pictures of yourself out there in the internet for people to see. But all of the appropriate stuff I want to make into a virtual photo album that you can walk through. I actually kind of got this idea from Ellis Island. Some of you may know if you've been to Ellis Island in New York. That is where a lot of the immigrants came through. And years ago when I was a baby, my parents donated to Ellis Island, and they had this opportunity for people who donated to Ellis Island and the renovations and updating of it. They made a tourist center, and they have databases of photos, and if you donated, you were able to submit some memorable photos that would kind of be there forever, and you can access them through this computer. So my baby picture is there, my parents' wedding picture is there. This is going to be even cooler because this is going to be something that years down the road, friends and family members and my friends' unborn children are going to be able to plug into via VR from anywhere in the world and go through and see mom and dad get married. Now it's going to be really cool when we start having 3D photography more readily available in the future. Imagine having a bunch of cameras all over an event that are recording nonstop, and they're able to basically do a 3D recreation of the party, of the first dance, of the father-daughter dance, and that kind of stuff that'll like choke somebody up and have an invaluable price tag on it in the future. And imagine being able to have it right there. Plus, the people who are going to be attending these events in the future, again, these are high spenders. So advertisers might want to buy these if you're not buying them as a gift, as I am, or with the intention to flip. This also might not be a bad place to advertise or sell advertising for wedding planners or maybe a divorce attorney or caterers, whatever. Partially kidding, partially not. Behind every good joke, there's a bit of truth. And it would also be cool just to be at a wedding and knowing that all the weddings and events in these areas in the future, when they plug in via AR to be like, hey, what's here in Earth 2? They'll be able to see my buddy's wedding, or for whoever's at the Addison, they'll be able to be immersed in that 3D wedding. And the biggest value is probably going to be to them the sentimental value of being able to have this 3D photo album, video album for them to walk through, and we can make it a structure that is kind of like a museum in an identical structure to the actual structure that's there. So maybe decades down the road that gets wiped out in a hurricane or something, this will still be there, the original structure that they went to. Imagine on your anniversary, your 50th anniversary, you plug in VR, you or the person you'd be selling this idea to, they plug in via VR and they have a dance with their wife in their house in Boulder, Colorado, but it's back in the identical structure, a recreation of the place where they got married. that'd be a cool little gift or surprise for them to have. So I definitely think these type of areas will have value to somebody. Now, this might not have value to everybody in the world, as maybe owning some land at Disney World or whatever else would, but I still think there is going to be a specific market. And like I said, if you find a wedding venue that has significant value to people sentimentally and the type of people who have money, might be a good investment purchase / whatever you want to make. Now, this last one, the most recent one, is Wynwood. A lot of this area was already bought up. If you're not familiar with Wynwood, Wynwood is the art hub of Miami and arguably one of the art hubs of the world. Every year they have Art Basel or Art Basel. Everybody wants to pronounce it a different way, but that happens the end of November, beginning of December, where famous artists, the top artists from all around the world, just flock to Wynwood. And this specific area in Miami, there's tons of galleries there. And you have, like I said, if you're familiar with Banksy, and I mean, I could list Broken Crow, all sorts of artists who have been there, both street artists and more conventional artists, but this is an art epicenter. So the connection I'm making here is an art hub, metaverse, NFTs. Now, when they put on a Wynwood event, wouldn't they want to be advertising their gallery or their NFTs, or maybe constructing a virtual reality gallery that is something you can only experience if you're there physically, or maybe even if you're not there physically, but it's something you could partake in. So not only for those special events do I think it will have immense value for people who want to put up NFT galleries or do some advertising, but Wynwood is also a popular place year round. A lot of people come from out of town, especially people who are into the arts, and they visit this area. So the foot traffic, while it might not be as thick and as dense as downtown Miami, it is only growing. The property value in that area is also skyrocketing, and they have more and more. Every time I go down there, there's like another 3 skyscrapers being built, massive multi-million-dollar condos being built. So I now have property right in the epicenter of all of that, and I actually have it right in front of the Wynwood Walls, which is a very famous gallery / cafe area where, again, Banksy's been on display, Shepard Fairey has been on display, Ron English has been on display. So these are some massive names in the art community. They've all been there. There's reason to believe they'll be there again. And this is some high value real estate. So that might be something you're thinking of when you're making your purchases. Not only art museums, which I especially love, but why not also some historical museums or natural history museums? The foot traffic is definitely going to be awesome. And maybe if you were to buy up like all of the Smithsonian, which is probably already bought up, you might be able to turn around and sell it to the Smithsonian down the road when they start getting into the metaverse concept, and they want to have some interactive displays that are there where you have, the T-Rex skeleton comes alive and it walks around, and a kid just plugs in a VR set, or they play with the AR while they're there, or this is something that they can do learning remotely, or taking a little virtual vacation from the comfort of their own home at the end of the night. Now, if you guys dig this kind of stuff and you want to see more specifics on what I've purchased, feel free to let me know in the comments. I could do more episodes like this and go through my portfolio and explain why I bought what I bought, but these are some specific ideas that, again, are more new to me, and some of them, like the Mega City, I just didn't have this concept when I made my first series of strategy videos, because this wasn't something that existed really back then. It was nowhere near as prevalent. Now these mega cities are all over the place, and again, if you want that list, fill out the contact form below. You'll get an automated email with a link to that list. You'll get a spreadsheet and you'll be able to access all that stuff. Join those groups if you want, or again, just buy next to them, because it's like buying next to a Starbucks or a Target. It's like they did all the research and all the planning and all the work, and that your property value is going to be going up because of the strategic work and research that they've already done for you. That's a little real estate tip, just in case you ever want to open a business in a certain area or buy in a certain area. Know where Starbucks or Target are planning to invest in open locations, and odds are it's for a reason. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found it informative and useful. For more information on this subject, as well as deep dives into anything Earth 2, tips, strategies, upcoming events, giveaways of both cash and land, you're going to want to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, Earth 2 News, and my newsletter, as well as checking out those links in the show notes below. Until my next episode, I look forward to helping you find your way around Earth 2.